play and call it work.
Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com with Tarik, and it's time for another Space Marine review video. This is the series of videos that we're putting out to cover the new Space Marine Codex, and it's not going to cover every detail, but it's doing the overview of all the new formations, the changes to units, and everything else. We've already put out a couple videos yesterday, so if you haven't had a chance yet to go watch them, there will be links. If you're watching this on MiniWarGaming, then there will be links in the description below in the playlist information. If you're on YouTube, just go to MiniWarGaming.com and you'll find them pretty fast. And of course, as usual, we're going to be putting out 2 per day, 1 for free on YouTube and 1 in the MiniWarGaming Vault, so we can bribe you to become Vault members, because the more Vault members we have, then the more money we have to make more videos and improve our videos and build more studios, because you guys, the Vault members, are the reason that we're able to stay in business. So if you're a Vault member, thank you very much for your patronage. So yesterday we talked about the overview, and in the Vault video we started talking about the Gladius Strike force. Yeah. We got as far as the Demi Company and all the command formations. Yes. So now we're going to see how many more formations we can cover in this video. It might take 2 videos, but we'll just start talking and see how long that is. So we've got, looks like 8 more formations to cover, and then there's the lone formation, the Strike Force Ultra, which I think is supposed to be in the Gladius Strike Force, but it isn't. It isn't, and so we can't say it is. Yeah. It's just its own thing. The Drifter formation. And it's not even like at the end of all the formations. Yeah, it's like mixed in. Yeah. And there's even a link to it from the Strike Force command, but we already talked about that in the last video. We're not sure if it's an error, but if it is, it's a pretty big error, so they're going to have to errata that one before anybody could claim that you're allowed to play the Strike Force Ultra in the Gladius Strike Force. All these Strike Force. You know, one thing that they don't do well is come up with new names that don't just sound like everything else. Yeah. Like, obviously, the Corn being the biggest thing, Bloodthirster, Bloodbladder, Bloodhound,
Space Marines aren't known for their creativity.
No, it's the fact that they're called Space Marines. Like, we're so used to hearing that word that we don't realize how generic that name is. Why it's so laughable that they ever try to protect that trademark, when it's such a generic thing. Which is why they're the Adeptus Astartes. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's Space Marines. Like,
nah. Yeah,
they're a Marine. They're a Marine in space. That's very, very inventive. But hey, it was back in the 80s, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, there you go.
So let's go through these. We got the Armored Task Force. Yes. The only way that you're gonna be able to bring Vindicators and Predators in a Gladius Strike Force is as part of the Armored Task Force. So why don't you walk us through that? What do you have to bring? What are you allowed to bring inside this formation?
So you get, you need to have 1 Tech Marine, and then you have 0 to 3 Thunderfire. They're fun.
They're Thunderfire. Sorry.
Thunderfire cannons. 3 to 5 units of either Vindicators, Predators, or Whirlwinds.
In any combinations.
In any combination.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it means you could bring 3 Predators, or a Predator, Vindicator, Whirlwind.
In 1 unit?
No.
Oh.
3 to 5 units.
Yeah.
Chosen.
Oh, so you
in
can,
any combination.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you can't mix and match them.
Right, yeah.
But you can bring 3 units of Predators, 3 units of Whirlwinds, 3 units of Vindicators, or 1 unit of Vindicators and 2 units of Predators. Yeah. Yeah. So you can mix and match, but you have to bring 3 units of vehicles.
Have to.
Now the units can still be min of 1.
Yes.
Even though it says units, it could still be just 1. It could be a unit of 1.
Yeah. Well, it is. Well, 1 dude or 1 Whirlwind is technically a unit, right? So
it's
3
true.
Units. I don't know where I was going there. And then you have you can take Sergeant Cronus as part of the formation.
Yeah. And he essentially just goes in the vehicle and makes the vehicle better.
Yeah, he's like there on the thing, the hull over.
Yes.
I'm done.
He's essentially an upgrade to a vehicle.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
You were saying that it was an expensive.
Well,
it's beneficial.
It's unfortunate that the only way you can bring your Predators and Vindicators. Now, Whirlwind, there's another way to bring them, and it's not as expensive. Although you have to bring land speeders with them. It's unfortunate the only way you can bring these is as at least 3 of them, because that does make it expensive. Because you're not going to leave them naked. You want a Predator to usually be upgraded with the triple last cannons. Yeah. Vindicators, yeah, you can leave them stock. Maybe give them one or two little upgrades. And Whirlwinds are the same thing. They can come stock. But your Predators, they start off cheap, but once you start adding stuff.
Yeah, upgrades.
And especially because they're really pushing you to take a unit of 3, because that's when you get access to some really good bonuses.
Yeah.
So it would have been nice if they said you had to bring, the restriction is that there has to be at least 3 vehicles total. And so you could bring 1 unit of 3. So
you know what? Now that I think about it, I think this will probably work in bigger points games, like maybe 5,000 points,
or at least 2,000 points.
2,000,
like 1,500 or 1,750.
That's no.
You can bring it. You can totally do it. You're not going to be able to do your double demi company thing.
Yeah, you'll only be able to get 1 demi company.
Yeah, but if you're,
but that means all your transport is. But if you're going with this, you want as many. You're probably going to go with a vehicle heavy list. And you want as many vehicles as possible, so you want the
double demi company,
so that you can grab the transports for free.
But you can also not pay for the second demi company, and you have extra points to buy some transports. So you can do it the old-fashioned way. I know now you don't want to buy any transports, right? You feel like you're being ripped off. Oh, I had to pay points for this Rhino.
Mind
games. It should be free. But it's not.
It's not free. Sorry, guys.
So what are the benefits of the Armored Task Force then?
So you get the Tech Marine and Tech Marine Gunners have +1 bonus when making the Blessing of Omnissiah. Roll Omnissiah?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say those
That's
words. Rolls to forgive me. Rolls to repair vehicles from this formation.
Yeah, so normally they only repair it on a 5+, unless they have some servitors. But this will give them a minimum of a 4+.
4+. Yeah.
That's not a big deal. The other one...
But there's more.
The other one is a little more useful.
The other one, if I can click it with my fat fingers. Praetorian can't. Vehicles from this formation ignore the effects of crew shaken and crew stunned results. Whoa.
While
they are within 6 inches of the Tech Marine. I should have finished that.
Or a Tech Marine gunner from one of the Thunderfire cannons.
Formation.
So I should note as well that as far as I can see, yes, this is the only way to bring a Thunderfire cannon. So I think this was their nerf to the Thunderfire cannon. Because the Thunderfire cannon was too cheap and too effective.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, we're not going to change that, although they know they changed the stats a little bit and the points cost a little bit. What we're going to do is if you want to bring a Thunderfire cannon in the Gladius Strike Force, you're going to have to bring some vehicles too. And these vehicles you probably didn't want to bring necessarily, because they're going to eat into your points. Because you're going to want to bring Centurion Devastators, right? Because all their grav cannons.
Yep.
That's 200 points.
Yep.
Now you got to bring 3 vehicles and a Tech Marine, just so you can bring a Thunderfire cannon. That's expensive.
Yeah.
That's really limiting what you can bring. So that's kind of a nerf. Now there's still ways to bring a Thunderfire cannon.
Yeah.
You could be like, I'm bringing Ultramarines. I'm going to have an allied detachment of Salamanders with 1 HQ, 1 min squad of tactical marines, and a Thunderfire cannon. Hey, why not, right? And so you could do that. You got to, but then you still have to pay a tax. You still have to pay for a CAF and another, unless you have it and you're trying to unlock it for another reason.
Yeah, and it's not part of the formation or the Gladius Strike.
Now that's not as big a deal because he doesn't really benefit from the re-rolling, all of that. Like the Thunderfire cannon. Some people try to argue that if you can re-roll just ones, you can re-roll scatter. Yeah. But I strongly disagree with that. I understand that some people would disagree with me disagreeing with that, and that's fine. But under the blasts and re-rolls, it says if something allows you to re-roll to hit, it doesn't say re-roll to hits of 1. It says re-roll to hit. And the only way you can re-roll to hit is if you're re-rolling everything. Yeah. Now I know some people will be like, well, no, if you're re-rolling 1, then you're re-rolling to hit. But you're not. You're re-rolling 1s to hit. It's different wording. And so I don't think the doctrine... So the same people who argue that preferred enemy allows you to re-roll blasts will probably argue that Tech Marines, when the doctrine is in place, will be allowed to re-roll. With twin-linking their guns. Unless I'm totally just missing the point, because maybe Thunderfire cannons don't even have chapter tactics. And they do. Yeah. Well, the gunner has chapter tactics. Yeah. And it's artillery. Right? But he's artillery, so he's the one firing it. Yeah. With his ballistic skill of 5. Makes sense. So I don't know. So he doesn't really get access to it. So it doesn't matter if he wasn't brought in an armored task force. Yeah. But if you bring the Thunderfire cannon, that's 1 more Tech Marine to give a bubble of ignore crew shaken, crew stunned.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just, but it's your only way of bringing Thunderfire cannons.
As part of the Gladius.
Yes. Okay. And that's, you have to kind of factor that in. What does it force you to do if you want certain units? And that's kind of a balancing way of doing it, right? They're like, well, if everybody's bringing Thunderfire cannons, let's make them buy some stuff that we haven't sold a lot of recently.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think if you want a Thunderfire cannon as part of the
Strike Force,
then you have to think about whether or not you want the 3 units of either Predators, Vindicators,
or Whirlwinds,
or a mix of a combination of the 3.
And none of those 3 are bad. Like Whirlwinds, Predators, and Vindicators are all good. They're just...
It depends on what you're fielding and how you're synergizing your list.
Exactly. And they're going to eat up points if they're not something that you were specifically planning on bringing in your list.
Yeah.
So they just don't work that way. Okay. So moving on, we've got the first company task force, not to be confused with the Strike Force Ultra, which really feels more like the first company task force. And this one is very straightforward. It's 3 to 5 units of essentially, there you go, you got it, all right. Of essentially things that are veterans. So Terminator squads, Terminator assault squads, Stern Guards, and Vanguard.
Yeah.
So you got to choose any combination of 3 to 5 units of those. And there's no restrictions. So there's no specific upgrades, there's no size of squads. It's just the restrictions are you have to bring 3 to 5. Now what benefits did they get? And they get a few.
They get a few. They get fear. They get fearless.
That's nice. Fearless is nice.
Yes.
Because I drop podded in some Stern Guard, who then combat squatted out, and one of them lost 2 of them, and they shouldn't have, and the other 3 ran away. You know how annoying that is? And they hadn't used their combi meltas yet.
That's not fun.
No. But if they were fearless, they'd have been like, oh, whatever. Combi melt on your face.
That's just Bob. We don't like Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fearless alone is a nice benefit. But they have some other stuff too.
Yeah, they have extremist level threat. At the start of the game, you nominate 1 unit in the enemy army. And units in the formation, they get preferred enemy special rule when making attacks against the nominated unit. So, yeah, you choose a unit.
So they're a kill squad.
Exactly.
So stick the veterans or the Stern Guard inside of a drop pod.
Yeah.
Nominate some poor soul on the other side. Go drop pod in, combi melter, combi flamer, whatever you choose to do.
Yeah.
And everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy, except the guy's dead.
The other people.
Yeah, so everybody that's you.
Yeah.
If you count as everybody, then everybody's happy. But that's effective. Now, there's a lot of different things I've seen in different codexes that are like nominate a unit and you get some sort of benefit against that. That often doesn't always do something useful, because it really forces you to play a specific way rather than having the tactical flexibility, which ironically is also in the Strike Force Gladius Strike Force and the Demi Company. Yeah. Their tactical flexibility, and these guys are like, no, we're not flexible. That's our target.
That's our target.
But if it's a very important target, like deep striking Terminators nearby, start opening fire with their storm bolters or assault cannons or whatever else they're armed with.
Yeah.
Drop potting in Stern Guard right beside them with flamers or meltas. And it just says any unit, right? It doesn't say like character.
Yeah, it just says any unit. You nominate any enemy unit, or nominate 1 unit in the enemy army.
So that could be a vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no restriction there, because a unit is a unit is a unit.
Or monstrous creature is part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, and like especially with the 4th special rule, which allows them to allows them to, so enemy units subtract 2 from their leadership within 12 inches of at least 3 units of this formation. I figure like with this formation, essentially what you do is you nominate 1 really big target, really powerful, whatever it is, multi-wounds, whatever it is, high leadership. You're like, okay, you're going down, and then it's like a rapier, a very powerful laser rapier where you go, and you destroy that big target.
And there's some interesting synergies that come to mind. One that comes to mind is this task force could be 3 units of Stern Guard inside of drop pods, and then you make sure you have 3 more drop pods in your army.
Yeah.
Just even if they're empty, so that you're allowed to bring the 3 units of Stern Guard first turn, and then bring your Librarius Conclave with Tigurius and 2 other Librarians. Right. Have Tigurius join one of them, and the 2 other Librarians join. And so these would be min squads of 5, or enough that you can fit them in a drop pod.
Yeah.
And then the 3 of them, you nominate a unit. And Tigurius has Pyromancy.
Yes.
And and he's joined the group. Oh no, sorry, not pyromancy. Telekinesis. The one that has psychic shriek, is that telepathy or telekinesis?
I think that's telepathy.
Whatever. The one that has psychic shriek.
Yeah.
And you drop 3 drop pods around this thing that you want to kill, and it's got -2 leadership, and psychic shriek him.
Oh.
Because psychic shriek, of course, as we know, it goes on their leadership.
Yes.
And so all of a sudden it's like boom, boom, boom. He steps out and he's like, "Your brains are mine." And then if they're still alive, you got 3 squads of Stern Guard who can use their special ammunition, not even like their combi flamers or meltas. If you really wanted it, you could do that. And they could totally wipe that out. Now, the points there is not cheap.
Yeah.
You're paying for 3 drop pods minimum, 3 Stern Guard squads minimum, Tigurius and a couple librarians. That could be like easily half to 2/3 of your army.
Yes.
But if they've got a kill squad on the other side,
yeah,
that could do it.
And not only that, Tigurius gets to reroll the reserve rolls, right?
For everybody else. Because they come in automatically
oh,
turn
yeah,
1.
yeah.
Because they're drop pod assault, right?
Yeah.
They still have drop pod assault, which is nice.
Yeah.
So it says Duke, Duke, Duke. He comes out, he goes, your brains,
and
and then combi stuff and special ammunition.
Yeah, you
preferred enemy. Like you have to. It'd only be worth it if the guy has a kill squad.
Yes. If he's got like a Death Star unit or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If he has a Death Star unit, that's worth half his points.
Yeah. This is a Death
You're like,
Star.
juk, juk, juk. It's an anti-Death Star.
Yeah, it's an anti-Death Star unit.
Exactly, because it's not a Death Star unit because it's 3 squads, right?
So, yeah, that's true.
So
what
it's
consists of a Death Star unit?
Death Star is like 1 unit.
Oh, yeah.
That is like 2/3 of your points and like 150% of your effectiveness.
Yeah.
Like they just go around and nobody can touch them, and they're very difficult to deal with. So yeah, the first company task force is the task force to go against those stupid Death Stars out there.
Yeah.
Or take down a Wraith Knight first turn.
Yeah.
They could do that. They could do it.
Yeah.
A bunch of combi meltas and psychic shriek.
I just like how much you love Wraith Knights.
Oh, you look for every way to get rid of them.
So much love.
Yeah. Or Dread Knights.
Or Dread Knights.
Or Riptides. Or Grey Knights in general.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Any of these things would be great. So it'll be interesting to see, because so all I'm trying to say is I can see some interesting combos.
Definitely.
With this, whether it's Stern Guard or Terminators or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
And they have to start. They don't have to start in Deep Strike. No, they don't have to. There's no rules. There's really no restrictions to how you use them, and I like that because you could start the Terminators right on the table. You could Deep Strike them in. You could
teleport them in.
You could drop pod in or not.
Land Raider. Can't stick them in.
Yeah, you could stick them in a Land Raider. That's right, because as part of being a Terminator squad, they can take the Land Raider as an upgrade.
And if it's like 3 and you have 3, but again, that's expensive. But if you have the points,
but it's 3 Terminators and 3 Land Raiders, and so it's okay.
And you get like a bonus with the 3 Land Raiders, don't you?
I guess you could, because there's the other one that is the Land Raider Spearhead.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to that one.
Okay.
It's the last one on the list, but there's really no reason not to look at it right now. The Land Raider Spearhead, which is simply 3 units of Land Raiders, and they can be any kind of Land Raider, Crusader, Redeemer, or just a regular one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can combine those two. It's expensive, but what do you get with the Land Raider Spearhead then?
You get, hold up.
Oh, I got it right here.
You got it?
So there's 2 things. Armored Behemoths is the first special rule.
Yep.
And they ignore crew shaken, crew stunned, weapon destroyed, and immobilized results on the vehicle damage table as long as they are within 6 inches of at least another model from this formation when the roll is made. Yeah. So they turn into super heavies.
Yes.
The super heavies ignore all those. And even immobilized. They basically turn into super heavies. That's pretty spectacular. They're not completely like super heavies.
Yeah, like
they don't get all the rules. Yeah, there's other stuff, but essentially that makes them very, very difficult to kill. And then they have even the mightiest shall fall, which is models in this formation can reroll failed to wound rolls or armor penetration rolls when shooting at gargantuans, super heavies, or buildings that have the mighty bulwark special rule. So that's a very specific.
Yeah.
It's a Wraith Knight killer. That's what they did. They're like, we're going to come out with the Eldar with all these ways to bring Wraith Knights ridiculously, and then we'll come out with an answer. I don't know if that's really a good answer, though. 3 Land Raiders. So? Just because they get to reroll.
And also they have to be within 6 inches, like for vehicles.
For the other one, not for this one, though.
Oh, no?
This one's just models in the formation.
Oh, yeah, fair enough, yeah.
The other ones, yeah, you're going to be basically rolling up with...
Well, they're going to be targeted.
Yeah.
You know?
But especially...
If they have that... Then they're going to be targeted.
Well, especially if they're full of Terminators who all have preferred enemy against something they're trying to go after.
Precisely, yeah.
But they're going to be targeted because they're so strong. And because they're so strong, it'll be harder to kill them.
Yeah.
and you have to strip down all their hull points. You can't. Well, actually, it doesn't ignore an explodes result. It'd be really cool if it ignores explodes. It doesn't. Just stunned, destroyed. Oh, sorry, weapon destroyed, immobilized, and shaken. So they can still be exploded.
Yeah. Wait, but they still lose their hull point then.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not
of
like
course.
They ignore.
Oh no, they still lose hull points. So you got to strip out their 4 hull points.
Yeah.
So is that formation that good?
Tough, right? Like if you.
Well, it's armor 14.
That's true.
Unless you're Necrons with Ghosts, you're going to have the right things, either lance weapons or some strength 10. So they're Landowners are tough. Landowners are tough. But they're just usually offset by the fact that they're so expensive.
Yes. Yeah.
But they can be really effective. So 3 Land Raiders. Now, once again, it's the issue that you have to bring 3. But there's lots of. That doesn't mean that's the only way to bring Land Raiders, because Land Raiders, I believe, are dedicated transports for Terminators. Unless
Yes, they are.
They haven't changed that at all?
No, they didn't change anything.
Yeah, so because Terminator squads, Land Raider, Crusader, or Redeemer as a dedicated transport, which means we have ways to get access to that if you bring. But Terminators, going back to the task force, is that the only way to bring Terminators? It is. It is the only way to bring Terminators. Interesting.
No way.
Yeah, there's no other place you could bring.
Else.
Unless you do combined arms attachment, of course, which allows you to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring Terminators, you got to bring them
as part of the strike force,
which is a minimum of 3 units. Now you could bring 1 unit of Terminators and a couple of units of Sternguard or Vanguard or whatever, but still.
Can you only bring Vanguard in that way as well?
Vanguard, Sternguard, Terminators, and Terminator Assault.
So you can only use it if you take that for but you can only get Vanguard and Sternguard.
That's the only way.
That's the only way.
Yeah. Once again, I think people, maybe they saw that Sternguard were being used all the time, just let's bring a squad of Sternguard in a drop pod, and that was it. Yeah. So okay, well, if it's fine, you want to do that, do combined arms attachment, but if you want to do Gladius Strike Force, you also have to bring more of them.
Yeah.
Or you have to bring Terminators. None of these things are cheap.
Yes.
Like even a min squad of Terminators is not cheap.
Yeah.
So interesting tax of what they've kind of forced you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, like a lot of the other ones, the Necron one or the other ones, you're not going to have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Or sorry, you're not going to be able to bring a lot of these things. It's usually going to bring your demi company and maybe 1 or 2 auxiliaries.
Yeah.
But that'll still be a good list. So you're just not going to be able to do everything you want to.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you can't just bring 1 squad of Terminators, 1 squad of Sternguard, 1 Land Raider.
Most of these things are a minimum of 3.
Yeah.
And then a maximum of 5. Like you can't spam them.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're going to do this in another video. So we've covered the first half that we wanted to cover. So we're going to cover the rest of the formations in the video at the link below. So of course that is at the MiniWarGaming Vault. So go ahead and click that. And if you're not a Vault member, you can get a free 7-day trial. It gets you instant access to everything in there. And we should have all these videos put up within a week. And so even if you don't want to remain a Vault member, that 7-day trial will be enough for you to be able to see all of them. And so we're going to cover the rest of the formations in the Gladius Strike Force right there. Go ahead and click that. And thanks for watching. Happy wargaming.